and Roasted. I'm Stephanie, and I have my guest here, Miss Ashley Jones.
Hi, guys.
And she is a good friend and ministry partner. And today we are having a cup of coffee. And sometimes, believe it or not, I have regular coffee. Is real, right? She comes to my house regularly, so we have regular coffee, but it has to be what? Dark.
Yes.
Because you have to taste
the coffee.
You gotta taste the coffee. So I don't know about you guys. I really probably am judging people who are drinking light roast, or if they're drinking decaf. Like, that's just why.
Or if it's too sweet, like you have to be able to taste it.
Absolutely, yeah. So anytime I go out for coffee, if I get regular, it has to be half the normal sweet of what other people want, because it's like you're not tasting the coffee. You're not a real coffee drinker if you're drinking it that way. But anyway, that's my judgment for the day. So Ashley is here with me, and we are going to talk a little bit about how we came to be friends, and how you came to Compassion. So you guys know that I'm the Connections Director at the church, executive pastor, and I'm transitioning actually out of being a Connections Director. And Ashley took a awesome lead role on my team, but when she came to our church, I didn't know you at all. I'd been working with Compassion for several years by the time I met you, and the story of how you found Compassion is one of my favorites. So why don't you share a little bit about how you found us?
I love it so much. Okay, so I was not in a good place. I did not grow up well, and so I was struggling. I actually moved to Kansas City because I was struggling with depression and anxiety pretty bad still then. So, actually, some stuff was going on within my family, and so I moved back and moved in with my brother for a little bit, and God just put somebody in my life, Abby Whiston. If you watch this, I love you. You're so precious. And she was such a light to me, and really it started when I was still in Kansas City, because the Lord, like, I had been praying just for guidance more than anything. Like, I just remember, like, praying and asking God to heal me. And while I was in the middle of that prayer, God spoke to me and said, faith without works is dead. And I was kind of like offended a little bit at first, like, okay, hold on, like everything I've been through that's led me to this point that has made me feel this way, like you let that happen, and then now you're going to make me work for my healing. Like it took a second, but while I was still sitting there, I just kind of thought about it. I'm like, okay, this is the Lord speaking to me, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go with it. And I changed the way that I prayed that day, and I've never prayed the same way since. I just asked the Lord for guidance. Like I said, okay, I'll do my part if you do your part. Said, I will put forth the work, but you have to show me how to get there, because I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so he just really started revealing a lot to me, just different things that have like helped me through my healing journey and in my restoration. So mentally and emotionally, I was already like healing,
going in that way. Just going in that direction. I think what you're saying, like, as far as like working for it, I think some people may misunderstand and think like you have to work for your salvation, but you're not talking about that.
You're
talking about like the process of healing.
Yes.
Like you had kind of put all of that on hold, and it had affected your life negatively, and then you're finally like, I've got to heal.
Yeah,
and the Lord's like,
there's something that I have to, like, what do I have to do to find that? So like as far as processes, like like now, I wasn't then, but like now I've started going to counseling, and
right.
But there's other areas of healing that,
praise God for counseling.
that I wasn't able to work through on my own. But like the Lord just, what I really meant was like counsel me through it, because you just hold on to it. You don't know how to let it go. So like the Lord really taught me a lot. Like, for instance, one of the things that I learned is that every behavior is a form of communication, even bad behavior. So that means like not just with me and my shortcomings or mistakes, but like with the people that have hurt me in the past. So there was a reason they had a need that was unmet, or something that they still needed to work through that was maybe a trauma from their past that caused whatever was behavior I had that was like triggering that response.
Right.
Yes, it caused me my trauma, but they also had some kind of trauma that they needed to work through. So it wasn't necessarily about me, which I really struggle with, just blaming myself for what I had been through. So that kind of really transformed the way that.
And I think like allowing people and giving people grace helps you to heal too, because we only know what we know.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have a relationship with Jesus and you're not walking through that healing with him. And so you're just stuck. You're just
Yeah.
stuck in whatever that is. And you're doing the best with what you know to do. I really think genuinely people are doing the best that they
Yeah.
can. But
With
when
what
they
they
don't
have.
know, if they don't know how to heal and they don't know how to walk through that personally, then they're just stuck in that and they're just responding to what they know to respond to.
Yeah, I think you just really have to give people grace because, like, for me, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes with people and ruined relationships with
Absolutely.
people when I was still so broken as
Same.
well. So, like, then I can kind of like understand that for other people too,
Sure.
and just give them grace. And like, it really helped me find forgiveness in a lot of people
Absolutely.
as well.
I think too, oftentimes when we get stuck in our own trauma too, and we're not allowing ourselves to heal and forgive, that we want all the grace, but we are not good about giving the grace.
Yeah.
So when we get to that place of healing, you can really tell you're healing, I think, whenever you realize like you're able to give people grace.
Yeah.
Even people that's caused great harm to you, great trauma to you. Because our stories are very different. I didn't have a lot of trauma growing up, but I had a lot of trauma as an adult because I made some terrible decisions and were in bad relationships. And whenever I finally got to the place of wanting to heal from that and forgive, like I was like, I have to give grace to these people, to be able to overcome this and assume the best. And that really helped me to kind of process through a lot of that pain.
I think for me too, it was like kind of the opposite because I'm really good at giving other people grace or making excuses for other people or that type of thing. But I really like took a lot of the blame on myself. And so I had to learn how to give my own self grace and like learn like that was a really big part of my healing journey is just learning like what you went through, like it wasn't your fault.
Right.
Because I just my whole life I've always just blamed myself for everything.
Yeah, and it can lead to such terrible things, and self-condemnation, as we know, like in the word, that's not from God. He does not want to condemn us. Once he's forgiven us, like we are free from that. But it is so hard to process that sometimes, especially whenever you've made such big mistakes or you've been through such big trauma that you blame yourself for.
Yeah.
I know like when I married my first husband and married him young, and it was horrible and I didn't realize how bad it was going to be, but through that I had to learn to forgive myself once the Lord started processing through that, because I was so angry at myself for making that decision and feeling like I deserved it because of the decision I made. Even though I knew God had forgiven me, I was like still like, but I'm still feeling the pain from it, so I must still be guilty.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to really let the Lord heal that in me so I could forgive myself for
Especially like when it's a situation where like you heard God speaking to you
Yeah.
and you didn't listen.
You didn't.
And then you got yourself hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like so hard to like work through that type
and
of
not think that God is just mad at you and it's not over there being like, told you so.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but I like was like I knew God like I was like so repentant like in certain like circumstances, but like I'm like God forgives me, but I couldn't. And that's actually how I ended up getting out of church because I went to church from 16 to 22.
Yeah.
And then I stopped going because I was going through a really hard thing, and I felt so like guilty for getting myself into that position. And there was other circumstances around that too, but
yeah, and that's hard. That's hard, and it can pull you away from God because you are living in such shame. And I definitely carried that. That's why I stayed in an abusive relationship for as long as I did. I was ashamed of myself. And I just hoped it would get better, and I didn't want people to know how bad it was, and so I would just try to cover it for them, cover the abuse for them, because I blamed myself for it, because I felt like I got myself into this situation.
I think that was part of my issue too, is because I didn't go to church for 10 years until I came to compassion.
Yeah.
Which we'll wrap right back around to how.
Yeah.
But because even when I was going to church, like I wasn't pursuing after God like I am now, so it was different. Like God has always been a part of my life. I've always heard him speaking to me. I didn't grow up in church, but even I can look back on my childhood and like see where he was speaking to me, where he was guiding me, like the things that he taught me, like throughout all of that.
Yeah.
But like even when I was going to church, like I was still struggling with so much, and like there was the depression and anxiety and things that like I wasn't laying down. So then, when I went through that hard thing, and I didn't really have a lot of people reaching out to me and asking me like, and that's a whole nother thing, but like because I was still so broken that I couldn't just reach out for help, and I kind of had that expectation on people or hoped that they would just reach out to me, but people don't know what's in your mind or your heart.
They don't.
And so yeah, I kind of just I stopped going, but I never had anybody like come after me
Yeah.
either. So I was so hurt by that nobody reached out to me and
Mm.
just asked me like, where have you been? Because
Right.
for almost 7 years I never missed a single service,
Right.
and I stopped going. And when I slowly actually worked my way out, and
Yeah.
it was just like when I did go, you know where you need to be, you know what you need to be doing, that kind of perspective, and nobody actually asked me what I was going through. So I just ended up not going altogether, and I kind of like went to a couple of different little churches, but then
Yeah.
I
Just got
didn't
completely
go. Like,
disconnected. So by the
things
time
just kind
you
of got worse.
Well, and by the time you came back to Hannibal, you said, you were in that process of healing, and,
Yes.
you were moved in with your brother who was also in his own process. Like the Lord was doing
Yes.
big things in his life, and
Absolutely.
which I love Corey, and what his story is amazing. But so we are there. So this is how I meet Ashley. We are building a brand new church building.
Yes.
So our church is growing. We're moving from one town to another. And we are getting ready to open up for the first Sunday. So we're running around like crazy people, getting last minute things done, getting ready to launch the church really close to Christmas time,
Yes.
In Hannibal. And then I meet you. So tell us what that looked like before you walked into the door.
So yes, so as I said before, Abby, she walked into my life. She's so sweet. She's such a light, and like a Holy Spirit filled person.
Yeah.
And it really got me questioning like what the truth is, because you can ask my brother. I would fight you. Like, I would fight you. I'm like, you can't, there's no way. We live in a period of time where you can't possibly know the church. There's like however many different religions. Like, the Bible has been interpreted so many different times. If you change one word, like, it changes the whole meaning. Like, there's no way you can possibly know the truth. And so I had met her, and it really, like, I had already started that healing journey, and now I was in a spiritual healing journey. And so I just really started praying for truth.
Yeah.
And God gave me Jesus.
Yes.
And that was so exciting. And that's I could go into detail, but I won't this time. But I started praying and asking God to speak to me in a big way, like a bold way, because I wanted it to be like absolutely, like I wanted to know, like, what do you want me to know?
Right.
And so then 2 nights in a row, Friday night and Saturday night, I dreamed I was worshiping in a new church. And then the next day, Sunday, I was scrolling through my phone, looking at churches in Hannibal, Palmyra, and Quincy area, so anywhere close. And I just felt the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, you're not going to find it that way. And I kind of had like a little bit of an attitude about it. It was like, fine, guess you'll reveal it when you reveal it. And actually, really just a few short hours later, we were driving down Munger Lane. I had been back in Hannibal since June. So this is what, December. First part of December. And I was really like, the first time I had even driven down the road, I didn't even know the church was being built there. And as soon as I saw the compassion sign, I was like, compassion? When did that get there? And my brother was like, I don't know. I said, I didn't even know they were building a church there. But like, I felt it in my spirit. Like, the Holy Spirit was like, you're home. And so
which is so cool, because that's kind of like one of our core values, like welcome home. Yeah. Like, you're home. So that's really,
it was so crazy. Like, and it like made me literally feel the joy of the Lord. I can, like, honestly, but there's only 2 times that I've ever felt that way, and that was the first one. But like, I felt so much joy and like excitement, and I knew I had to be there. So later that evening, I was driving home from what we had done for the day, and I was like, do you mind if I drive back past that church and just see if there's somebody there that I can maybe talk to? Because I didn't know anything about the church, and if you had evening service, like the last church I went to did have evening service, so I was just curious. And I was driving past, and I was, there's cars here. I'm going to turn around and take you guys home, and then I'm going to come back. And so I came back, and I walked through the doors and said, hi, I'm Ashley. My brother and I are looking for a new church, and I didn't know this church was here. I was just curious if there was someone I could talk to at the church. And Amy says, hi, I'm Amy. I'm the pastor's wife. This is my daughter, Haley. And she introduced me to a couple people, one of them being you. And you took me on our little tour, and I've been with you ever since.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. It was really cool for us too, like on the other side of it, because, we're brand new in this new community. We're fixing to launch our very first service there. And so for someone just to drive by and walk in and be like, I've been looking for a church. Yeah. And we're like, oh my gosh, it was like confirmation for us too, because it was like, we're at the right place. Like, people are just walking in and we
Yeah.
haven't even started yet.
Well,
And
I've passed 3 churches on the way to work every single day and never felt like
yeah.
God anywhere before.
So it was definitely the Lord. So on
Yeah.
both sides of that. So like, and as we started growing as a team, and of course I spent some time with you, we had some time together and coffee together. And, I got to hear more of your story, and it
Found
was,
out we were connected in other weird ways.
yes, yeah, for sure. And then, then of course getting you added onto my team, and seeing that you were really hungry to grow spiritually,
Mhm.
but also hungry to grow like in leadership, and be more than just, a Sunday morning Christian, which I love when I see people who have that heart of saying like, this is my church, this is where I'm going to serve, like this is how God's going to use me. So that was really cool to see, because I mean, we encounter a lot of people at the church and everybody ain't like that.
Yeah.
So whenever you find one that's like super hungry for that, you want to invest in it as a leader. And no, I mean, I didn't know that I would be investing with someone that would possibly take my place, because I didn't know it would grow into that. But it was good to see, because I think that's exactly what the Lord wanted. And then our relationship, of course, is growing into something else too. More than just people who go to church, because honestly, the Sunday morning experience is really hard to get to know each other. We know that. Like, especially as we're growing, like you have hundreds of people there on Sunday morning. It's like we struggle to know everybody's name, and oh my gosh, do you remember who this was? And we're all the time trying to reach out and grow and grow and grow, because we want our church to be home. We want it to be family. And so that's really important to us. But it starts with one person at a time, like being able to invest in another person and saying, hey, like, you can come closer. And I remember the first time I was like, okay, so like we had met, and I was like, look, like seriously, like my home is open, and you don't have to like plan this whole day to come out here. You can literally just text me and say, hey, are you home? And show up. And you had so much anxiety on your face. I was like, I think like, I'm not sure what just happened to her, but I think she may have swallowed something, because she was like struggling to breathe for a second. And you're like, that is so hard for me.
I don't know what to
do. But I could tell part of you really desired it. Like you were desiring family and closeness, but maybe had been rejected a lot. And I could see that in your face. So for me to be like, come over, have coffee anytime. If I'm home, you can be here.
Like, you have to invite me. Like, I can't just come over.
And I'm like, no, like seriously, like come.
My nervous little laugh. Like,
through
the rest of the time
and the shifty eyes that you just did. You just did it. Shoulders up, eyes shifty. But I'm so glad that you realized that I was telling the truth. Like I really meant like, come.
Yeah, I could tell you were genuine.
Yeah, come and be here and be a part of our family.
But people always say that, and not everybody always
means it. Yeah, they don't always mean it, but we mean it. And our home, for me and my husband both, and my whole family, like Nelson is so used to it. Like he struggles when we're here by ourselves. He's like, where are the people? Like, because like
it's been his whole life.
Yeah, it has been. And community is so important to us. So like we were saying earlier, because we had a birthday party for my son, and I was telling this other couple that's just kind of started coming to our church, I was like, community is important, and we're so grateful for a home that we have that's a comfortable home, and it's where people can come and enjoy and be able to rest and feel at peace. And I said, we have a whole Sunday night crew that just shows up at our house, and and it does keep growing. It's his own thing now, because it's just, everybody knows I get my nap time. Mm-hmm. I drink my coffee, and then we can be friends.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the rule. I mean, Ashley even comes over sometimes and has her nap down here and her coffee here, and then we can be friends.
A couple of weeks ago, I came in and Jevin was in here, and I said, "Is Stephanie still asleep?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Good, I'm going to lay in the room."
So the fact that it's grown into that kind of family, and I think that the challenge with that is like when you get to know people and you get closer, of course, I think that some people get resistant because they start, I think for me as a leader anyway, people start seeing your flaws, and then they're like, oh, I don't know, you thought I was perfect, because
I'm not. Yeah.
Like I'm
just
not
a person.
Like
people put you up on a pedestal.
Exactly.
It makes it very difficult.
Yeah, and it does make it hard, because the more you grow as a leader, like I never want to lose that. I never want to lose people feeling like they can be close to me. I don't want to ever be the pastor sitting in the office by themselves. And I need friendships. I need family. I need people that I can be accountable to. And so I'm trying really hard to be intentional with those relationships, because because of that, and I know everybody you can't be close to, I totally get that. But I think for me, like continuing to grow that family of God in my home, it helps me a lot to stay grounded, and it helps me to really stay focused on the Acts church, because in Acts, it said they had all things in common, and how can I know what your needs are if I'm not spending time with you? Sunday morning, there's no way I can know. I cannot know what's going on with your life on a Sunday morning. Church is happening, things are going, people are passing. So we have to be able to do life together, to be able to share those stories and know what we need from each other, how we can pray for each other, how we can support each other. And, even in Acts, it says that many sold what they had, and nobody was needy among them. Well, that can't happen without community.
Right.
And so, because if you are on an island by yourself, like we can't talk about what your needs are. And I can't say, well, I can answer that need. I may not always can. Sometimes I can pray about it and believe that the Lord will provide, but sometimes I'm the answer to that need. Right. But we have to be able to do life together to do that. So I think our relationship has grown to that point, and many others, in our life at church and in ministry, because relationships are very important to me. Yeah. But that being said, like, I think that the biggest roast about your life, and many others, including someone else that may be in my living room right now, is just the story of, like, I came from a very grounded family. Like, I have an amazing mother and father that raised me in church and raised me in the faith. And so everything I am was rooted in that, is rooted in that. That's my foundation. That's my safe place. Still, no place in the whole world I'd rather be than my parents' living room. If I'm sick, I like my mom to be sitting there. I want her to make me potato soup, and I want her to be sitting in the room with me. To this day, at almost 50 years old, like that's who I am still. But then I see stories like yours that are so drastically different. Like, you had extremely challenging childhood. You did not have, say, a safe place in a home. You weren't raised in church. Like, you went to church on your own, but that wasn't a part of your life. I was raised in church all the time. My whole life was church. And so we come from these very different backgrounds, but the roast in this is there is no excuse. Right. Because the Lord pursued us the same. Yeah. In spite of that. And I look at you with amazement, because I'm like, who would I be apart from being raised in this Christian home with these awesome parents? Like, I have no idea. I can't even imagine my life apart from that. But then I see, like, you and many others that come from such challenging childhoods and backgrounds, and they still find Jesus. Yeah. Like, the Lord still makes himself clear to you. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I think that the thing is, like, I can look back at my childhood and see where God was there. Yeah. And, like, the ways that he spoke to me. And it's exactly what you said. He is always pursuing you, and he never gives up on you. I mean, I came to church and started building a relationship with him and walked away and was not consistent. And he kept putting people in my life to, like, be that light and guide me back. Like, he never stopped pursuing me. And I'm grateful for that, because I got to say yes.
You got to say yes. And I still had to say yes. Like, even though I came from that background, I still had to choose Jesus. Yes. I still had to say yes. And I didn't say yes to ministry till older than you. Like, I really didn't start pursuing Jesus really wholeheartedly till I was 30. And like, I'd been in church, but I wasn't pursuing, like, who am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to use my gifts for Jesus? Like, that didn't come till later for me. And so you're actually ahead above me because of where you are now. But it's
like one of those things, because when I came back to the church, like, I was in a place where I still felt like I'm going to end up completely alone. Like, and I just believed that my whole life. It was a lie that was spoke over to me when I was pretty young. And I just remember, like, walking through the doors, like, I was like, this is it for me. Like, whatever it costs me. Yeah. Like, if I am never able to build a family, if I have to spend the entire rest of my life alone, you'll be enough for me. Like, I'm not going to let anything keep me from having a relationship with you.
Well, and you said yes. And we've said that over and over. The roast is, say yes. Stop saying no. Like, because he is coming after you. He is pursuing you. He's just waiting for you to turn around and see him. Yeah. Like, he's here. He's always been here, no matter where you come from or what you've been through. Yeah. Like, he's always there. So the roast is this. First of all, Satan, you're roasted. Literally. I'm so corny, but like, literally, like, everything you did to try to trip Ashley up.
Like, I do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
He still tries to lie to me, and I'm like, I'll do the opposite. So, like, especially, like, being in connections, right? So, like, the Lord has called me to connections. So what does he do? He tries to make you feel like you have to be alone. You're going to end
Right.
up alone. I'm like, okay, watch this. I'm going to go hang out with this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite this person to coffee. And I'm going to do this. I just start doing the opposite.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think I was talking to my son the other day that I was just talking about how Satan tries to torment all of us. He's always trying to speak lies into our ears. And if you don't know the truth, like you'll believe his lies.
Yes.
And so one of the lies I really have struggled with, you know, I have children that are not serving the Lord right now in their life. I know they will be because I trust the Lord wholeheartedly. But I am a person who goes into the mission field and serves other people's children. And Satan will speak to me like, how do you even do that? Like, how do you go and serve other people's kids and your own kids aren't serving Jesus? Like, and so but I have to lay that down and be like, but this is what I'm doing, because seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added. Yes. So I'm believing that as I'm seeking the Lord, as I'm saying yes to him, he's taking care of my babies. Right. Because I raised them to serve the Lord, like not in perfection. I was not a perfect parent by any means. And they know, like, I have made my apologies for that, but his grace is sufficient where I was weak, and I'm going to keep pursuing Jesus and let him take care of my business. And I think that's a part of that, like just knowing that Satan's always going to try to lie and try to tempt you to believe what he's saying, because he knows the truth is what sets us free. Right. So like that's the roast. Believe the truth, know your word, and say yes. Yep. So that's the roast, guys. So thank you, Ashley, for coming and talking with me. I'm sure you'll be back another time and see where you are and hear more about your story, because I think people need to hear that. But thank you for coming today. Thank you for having coffee with me. And I know it won't be the last time.
Yes, thank you for having me.